Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and we are sitting here in this cube about to join a vintage cube, formerly known as Holiday Cube. Actually, I'm not sure. It's called something. It says Holiday Cube here for format, and then description says Vintage Cube. So, regardless of what you call it, just about my favorite format of all time. It's a draft format, cube draft format, but it has all the most powerful cards in Magic's history. Can open Power 9, Moxen, Black Lotus, tons of crazy decks you can build. There's a really powerful Storm deck in the format, really powerful Reanimator deck, artifact decks, prison strategies. Just there's so many broken synergies in this cube that it's a ton of fun to play. It's just so powerful, so much fun. So we're going to go through one of these today and see how it goes. And we are about to see what we find in pack 1. Quick glance around. Do we have any power? Answer is no. No power. Not many broken cards at all, actually. So we have a Thirst for Knowledge, good in an artifact deck, or a Reanimator deck, since it fills the graveyard. Anticipate's fine, Daze is fine. Sphinx's Rev is pretty good if you're a big mana deck. Duretti can be good if you're the artifact deck. Zergo, I guess, is a 1-drop if you want to be the annoying mono-red deck. There are a lot of artifacts and enchantments, so Rex Sage is pretty good. You can definitely main deck it. I'm leaning towards this Thirst for Knowledge. Blue is really powerful in this cube. Thirst for Knowledge is good card draw, and it can randomly have synergies if you get Reanimator cards. I do like Sphinx's Rev too, but a little bit on the high end as far as cost. Ooh, Liliana of the Veil, missing her art for some reason until you zoom in. So that's another card that's really sweet in a Reanimator strategy. Lets you discard, and it really does everything. So we might be heading towards a blue-black Reanimator / control deck. Elspeth isn't bad either. Shackles is fine, but it's very matchup dependent. Signets are decent. Thoughtseize is also pretty good. Just a way to control what's going on with the opponent's hand. And I don't mind Treasure Cruise, but I think we're taking Liliana here. Hard to go wrong with powerful Planeswalkers. So if we're a blue-black deck, maybe reanimating things. Inquisition, not as good as it would be in a constructed deck, because things do cost more mana. Sorin is fine, but I'm not sure we want to splash white. I really like Phantasmal Image, but I think Ponder is the pick. I think it was Owen Turtenwald who tweeted out last time this cube came around, the one thing you never do in this cube is past 1-mana cantrips. And Ponder is a good one. So we're going to snap off the Ponder here. Smooths out the draws. So I still have in the back of my mind that we might be reanimating things. Well, if we're going to try to reanimate things, Careful Study is pretty insane. Good way to fill our graveyard. Otherwise, it is card disadvantage. It's like Faithless Looting, basically. The blue Faithless Looting, but no flashback. Necropotence can do some sweet things, but not so much in a Reanimator strategy. It's more of a Storm card, or like a mono black card just for the card advantage. And Crocus is very good. I'm hesitant to go in on the Careful Study without having more action cards. Like right now we have some decent setup cards, but we don't have anything that goes with it. I'm actually considering taking Crocus. Crocus is very strong. I mean, it's just good defense against like an Emrakul. So it is good enough, I think, that you can play it just as an off-color card. Well, we could take Emrakul and figure out later how we will get it into play. There are sneak attacks and show and tells and such. And Emrakul is one of the most powerful things in the cube, so it's not a bad idea just to take it and try to build around it. It doesn't work with reanimating. Otherwise, we're taking what? Like a Jace Beleren? Council's Judgment? Something pretty off-color. I think we're taking Emrakul. And now we just really want to keep our eyes open for synergies and ways to get into play. Here we have A whole lot of nothing. I guess Greaves is sweet with Emrakul, although I can't imagine us hardcasting the Emrakul. We are going to have to be somehow cheating it into play. There is an instant speed reanimator strategy too with like Shallow Graves and stuff, so that's a possibility. Smokestack I really like, but I don't think it fits in this deck. Regrowth is a really brokenly powerful card. I guess we're taking Regrowth on the theory that is the most broken card in the pack. Doesn't fit our colors, doesn't necessarily fit our theme, but it is powerful. Jeez. Moat can be pretty powerful. Soulfire, I guess, is cool if you get to the late game and can use the buyback ability. Ancient Grudge is good, but we're not really close to those colors, and we don't have much fixing. Woodfall Primus is fine, but it's not one of the better reanimation targets. Desecration Demon? I really don't know about this pack. It doesn't have much for us. I think I'm going to take Moat. Jeez, that is a late Primeval Titan. And considering this pack isn't great, I would play Faith Feathers. I do like that in a control deck. I think we're taking Prime Time. And maybe we're like a blue-green ramp deck, and I am off base with this Liliana. Or maybe we find a way to fit it in. I think I'm just going to snap off this Rex Sage if there's a chance that we are blue-green. It is a good main deck card. Woodland Cemetery could help us cast our Liliana. Alright. Taking the land. Change of plans. Trigon Predator is pretty solid. Eureka, alright, that's a way to get an Emrakul into play. It's a risky way, because Eureka, if you've never seen this card before, it is an old one. I think it's from Legends. And starting with you, each player can put a permanent from their hand onto the battlefield, and you repeat that process until no one puts a card on the battlefield. So, typically this is a trap card. However, if you are putting the most powerful things into play, then it can be alright. Sacred Foundry is 2 colors that we're not playing? I guess we can just take Master of the Wild Hunt. Ooh, Pattern of Rebirth is actually another really odd way to get an Emrakul into play. So we have a ton of backdoor Emrakul plans here. None of the really good ones. Get rid of that Miriam Crusader because it has pro green, and ooh, not a bad last pick, an Ancient Grudge. So Pattern, it's an aura, it enchants a creature. When that creature dies, you get to search your library, or its controller, you'll put it on one of your own creatures, gets to search your library for a creature card and put it on the battlefield. So we can put this on a Fauna Shaman, sack it to Liliana, get an Emrakul, basically. Ooh, we got some spice here. So, Fastbond, there is an infinite mana combo if you get all the pieces. You need Crucible of Worlds, a Zurin Orb to sack lands, and Fastbond, lets you play any number of lands. Ulamog, pretty good. It would work well if our plan is to Eureka, or if our plan is to ramp into it with Primeval Titan. Strip Mine is also just a really powerful effect. I think for me it's between... Man, Swords is really good too if you want to splash white, just to have some efficient removal. Just kills anything. I think it's between Ulamog and Strip Mine. Let's take Strip Mine. Ooh, and we are immediately rewarded with a Crucible of Worlds. Oh, but there's also Tooth and Nail, which is another way, and a Through the Breach. Oh my god. Oh my god. So I like the idea of Crucible of Worlds plus Strip Mine, but I think we got to stay on our Emrakul plan and take Through the Breach. That is one of the easiest ways to get an Emrakul into play. So we have a lot of colors, and we're going to want to focus on fixing at some point. Wheel of Fortune is interesting. Gets us a new hand. Harmonize is also pretty good. Just a draw 3. There's also Underground Sea, which if we're going to try to play Liliana, we probably need. There's also Plateau, adds red mana, which is beneficial. Wheel of Fortune, you kind of want to be the Storm deck, or you want to be able to empty your hand really quickly, and I'm not sure that that's us at this point. I think we take the Plateau. I think we're going to need that eventually. Now we get a Simic Signet, most likely. Yeah, I think we're just going to take a Simic Signet for ramping. It's on color, helps us get to our big plays. Ooh, alright. Good options. We have a Misty Rainforest, really good land to have. Oracle is good ramping. Gilded Lotus helps us hardcast big things. And a Gruul Signet, which is also on color. I think we're taking Misty, though, over the Signet, or is that wrong? We don't have any duels we can fetch with Misty yet. Let's take Gruul Signet. So Dark Petition is a tutor. It finds us a Through the Breach or an Emrakul. If we're going to stick with playing black, it could work. Otherwise, there's not a lot other than lands. I think we're taking Verdant Catacombs, though. I think we really got to focus on the fixing. Ooh, Oath of Druids. That is another way to cheat an Emrakul into play. We just play Oath and never play a creature. We'd probably get rid of, like, the Fauna Shaman, the Master. Tropical Island is also really good. Fetch it with the Verdant Catacombs. Mystical Tutor finds our Through the Breach, or our Eureka, or Thirst for Knowledge. Maybe we're taking Mystical Tutor, actually. No, let's take Trop. We're going to have good mana. Well, I guess we got to take Wooded Foothills. I was wondering if we should take that Zuran Orb, just in case the combo with Crucible of Worlds tabled, but it did not, and I figured it wouldn't, so. Here we can just take Maelstrom Pulse, find removal spell. Here there's a bunch of not for us cards. Guess we'll hate out the Storm card, probably the scariest card. Can we play Deathrite? We have 2 fetch lands and a Strip Mine. It's possible. The other cards, Acidic Slime is fine. We'll take Deathrite. I don't know if we'll end up playing it or not, but I think there's a shot if we get more fetch lands. So our mana base is looking good. Otherwise, we're pretty much trying to get an Emrakul into play. Ooze or Courser. I think we'll go with Courser here. I think is more value. Take this Garrick, Caller of Beast, Temple of Mystery, or Malice, we probably will play. Hopefully no one Blood Moons us. Actually, Blood Moon isn't in the cube, but there is non-basic land destruction, like Wasteland and such. Alright, so we don't have any power cards at all. And our deck is somewhat fair. It is a lot of colors, and the main goal is to get Emrakul into play. We have some ways of doing it. Wouldn't mind finding some tutors would be really nice. That whole Zuran Orb Crucible combo was in that pack, so there's a good chance someone has that. And, geez, we are just going to whiff our way on all the power. No power this entire draft. Well, that's too bad. So what do we have here? True Name can be really hard to beat, but I don't know if we're going to play it. Nothing big and bad. It might just be Is It Signet? Yeah, I think that's better than Elves of Deep Shadow. Ooh, well, Upheaval is another broken card, and we are taking it. We have a decent amount of ramp. So with Upheaval, it returns all permanents to its owner's hand. Basically what you want to do is just ramp as much as possible. Play Upheaval, replay some stuff in the same turn while your opponent can't. So we're taking Upheaval. Bring to Light can search for an instant sorcery or creature. So we can Bring to Light for Eureka. We cannot Bring to Light for a Pattern of Rebirth. I guess we can Bring to Light for Through the Breach if we have all 5 colors of mana, which isn't impossible. But I think we're taking Imperial Seal to help us put our combo together. Tutors are pretty good. Can find the Through the Breach or the Emrakul or the Upheaval. Now we have a Kozalik. Not a bad plan B for Through the Breach. Also works with Eureka. And it is a little easier to ramp into with Primeval Titan. Green Sun's Zenith wouldn't be bad. Trinket Mage doesn't have targets. And Thragtusk is a fine value creature. Works good with Upheaval because it leaves behind a token. Kozalik, Zenith, or Thragtusk. With Zenith, we have 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, maybe 4-drop, and then 6-drop. Let's take Kozalik. Oh my god. This must have been the power pack. There is a Mox Ruby still floating around. But there's also a Bribery, which we might have to take if we're planning on playing a deck with Emrakul and Kozalik in it. Because that just beats us. We might literally have to take it over a piece of power. Like, that's how devastating. Yeah, I think we have to take Bribery, unfortunately. Or we basically will just lose to it. On-Color Temple, Mana Confluence, Rootbound Crag, or Duress. I think we'll just take the Temple. Are we going to be short on playables? We have 9 lands, so we have 20 cards right now. We have so many colors, though, that we can pretty much play anything. Anything except for white, really. Well, Eternal Witness is fine. Can get back Imperial Seal, Ponder, Through the Breach, Upheaval. We'll just take Ewit. Has enough value. Ooh, Progenitus? That's sweet with Eureka, if we're even going to go on the Eureka plan. But how much better is it than our 2 Eldrazi? Can just take Wall of Roots, I guess. Fine defensive ramp card. Sword of Light and Shadow. I think we just take Badlands here. Actually, Elves is technically ramp, and we do want ramp for our Upheaval. Badlands can be fetched by both of our fetch lands, though. Yeah, we'll take the Elves. And we will take another Elves. Pelucranos, or I guess we can just take Song of the Dryad. It's a way to deal with a Planeswalker or something that we might need. What are we getting rid of? I think we gotta make 1 cut. 1 cut of a non-land card, that is. Ooh, well, now 2 cuts, because we got the Green Sun Zenith back. And we do kind of want to play that. And an Elvish Mystic, alright. And a Rootbound Crag. And a Stomping Grounds. So our mana actually turned out pretty sweet. But we gotta make a couple cuts. What do we not want? Also, are we gonna play Bribery or Song of the Dryad? We might have to get rid of Eureka. It seems sweet, but it's also risky. We can stick with Pattern of Rebirth and Through the Breach, as well as Ramp to play our big creatures. This leaves us at 25 non-land cards, so we gotta go down 2 more probably. At least 1 more. And that's not even considering Bribery or Song of the Dryad if we want to play those. Fauna Shaman's questionable. It can search up an Eldrazi for Through the Breach, but I don't know if we need it. And maybe the Master of the Wild Hunt. Just play all mana stuff. We want our 1-drops because these can help us go 1 into 3. Pattern, I think, is alright. Breach, Primetime. Yeah, I think we go with this. Now we just got to figure out the mana. We have a Trop, which can get fetched by Wooded Foothills. Are we going to play Karakas? I think we can sideboard the Karakas for now. And also the Plateau. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red sources. That's plenty for a Through the Breach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green sources, which is actually really good. 1, 2, 3, 4 black sources. So I think we mostly need blue sources. We don't want red sources. I think we need go 3 blue, 4 green. So I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 green sources, because we gotta have green on turn 1. I guess elves also adds black. Now we mostly just need blue for the upheaval. We have 2 blue signets, also 2 green signets. Maybe just go 2 islands and add another forest. We really got to make sure we can play our 1-drops. And, alright, I think we run it like this. Game plan is either randomly Through the Breach and Emrakul and win, ramp into Eldrazi and win, or ramp into Upheaval and win. That is what our plan is. Also, we can randomly Pattern of Rebirth with its sweet art of the huge spiky tortoise. Anyway, I'm going to submit. I'll be back for round 1.